Hi, everyone, and welcome to week 3. This is just the brief introduction to this week's material and a guidance, hopefully, to help you through. I must say that some of you reached out and did ask questions about the assignment for this last week, and that was terrific, and I was very happy to answer your questions. So please, if you're one of those people, great, and if you haven't, that's also fine, but please feel free to write with questions if you have questions or concerns or certain needs that I can be helpful with. So moving on to this week, well, let me take a step back. And I want to say for last week, it was also just a great pleasure to be able to see your faces on your introductions and to get to know a little bit about you. I find that many of you are already teaching in early childhood settings. That's terrific. And that some of you are parents and also have an athlete, which I think I maybe mentioned last week as well. But it was a treat to actually see your faces, hear your voices, and get to know you just a little bit better. So for this week, you can see here is the under the content section for week 3 here. I've already clicked on it. And as usual, there's the weekly learning focus and goals, the outcome. And we're going to really focus this week, you will really focus this week on the theories of development. Again, I think I say this all the time, but this is one of my favorite aspects of development, of studying development, where somebody really brilliant studies children, researches, and then comes up with theories about what's happening in their development. And so you'll see, and I also appreciate about this chapter 5 in Morrison, that they give a whole historical perspective, starting all the way back with Martin Luther back in the 1500s or the 16th century. And I've never really actually considered it from that far back, but going all the way through and kind of understanding then kind of how education and public education, and then specifically early childhood education has developed, and some of the prominent thinkers in how children grow and learn. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I have. So that's what our goal will be, is an introduction to that. I have, as I will each week, the to-do list of what you need to do. Here are your readings, Morrison chapter 5, payload, a choice of selection from part 3. What that means is when you go to the table of contents, you'll see that there are different parts and that you get to pick one of the articles or the section that is under that particular part of the text. So it's up to you just to pick one. Then there's recommended, it's not required reading, but what's love got to do with it? Talking about some of the social emotional aspects of teaching and especially early childhood. And then here's the real meat and potatoes, well, along with the readings, of course, is that here are 2 PowerPoints, one about the history of education, and then the other one covering quite briefly some of the theories that are covered in your text. None of this is meant to supplant or replace the readings. This is where, in the readings, is where you really have to concentrate and focus. You must do the readings. These do not replace them, but they hopefully give you just a little bit of a peek or a tweak to your understanding from the reading, and just kind of another look at it to reinforce what you have already read. Within this, I will say that in the PowerPoints, be sure to enable content. You'll have kind of a yellowish, light white yellow stripe at the top. And it'll say enable content. Do that, because there are some videos that are embedded in these PowerPoints, and you won't be able to see them or play them if you don't click that enable content button. So please be sure to do that. And then there is also outside a video about Piaget's stages of development. And Piaget is so significant in terms of our understanding of how children develop cognitively, meaning how their intellect or their thinking or their understanding of the world develops. And of course, in education, that's a pretty important understanding. It's what we're all about in educating children. So he is very fundamental, and it's really important that you have a good handle on Piaget and how he understands children's cognitive or thinking development. So take a peek at that. Here is your assignment for this week. It's a participation activity. And what it is after reading chapter 5, about the different theorists, you will pick one. And then you will fill out an application to like an early childhood site. It's all fictitious. So, but you will complete then this application or this profile page for one theorist that you choose. And so what you will do is, here is the document, I won't click on it now, but you'll download it and then you'll complete it for one that you choose, one of the prominent early childhood educators. Pick one of the more prominent ones so that you have enough to say. Also so that you have a deep understanding of somebody that you will probably refer to later in your educational career, your education, and then also in your education career. These are the major theorists that people will talk about and on which we base our understanding. So you'll to get full credit, you have to have the figure's name, basic information. You can read this as well as I can, but please be sure to read the directions carefully. And then you will upload the document to your completed document in the assignment submission by next Sunday as usual. So that's it for this week. Again, another interesting, I think, and exciting week. I look forward to reading your critical reflections that you are turning in right now, and hope that you enjoy this next week as well. Take good care. Bye-bye.